Today, it's time to get schooled. And speaking of today, did you know that on this day, April 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights leader, was assassinated by James Earl Ray? Death threats had unfortunately been all too common for King. King was in Memphis that spring day to assist black sanitation workers marching for better treatment. Around 6 p.m. on that fateful evening, King was on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel just outside his room, talking to fellow civil rights leader Jesse Jackson when bullets were fired. King was rushed to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Witnesses after the shooting saw a man, later identified as James Earl Ray, fleeing from a boarding house across the street. A rifle and binoculars with Ray's fingerprints were found. An international manhunt ensued. Ray was arrested in Heathrow Airport in London 2 months later. After being extradited back to Tennessee, James Earl Ray confessed and pled guilty. Although he later recanted his confession, Ray spent the rest of his life behind bars. What seems to be the powerful lesson of this little tale is that objective truth is and always has been elusive. Our perceptions are just too powerful of an agent when seeking facts. The King assassination provides us with a perfect case study. The evidence against Ray was overwhelming. No one at the time seemed to doubt his guilt. But then, in 1998, one of King's grown sons visited Ray in prison and believed his denial. Even King's wife, later that year, pronounced that James Earl Ray did not kill her husband. The U.S. Department of Justice that year investigated any and all new charges, claims, and contentions. A 150-page report refuted the new denials and again delivered overwhelming evidence that James Earl Ray, beyond a shadow of a doubt, assassinated Martin Luther King Jr. Many still doubt. Robespierre wrote, "There's nothing the facts can do to change the myth." John Lennon wrote, "The more I see, the less I know for sure." As if life is not complicated enough. Or at least, that is how I see it. Psst, it's Prologue with Mr. Review. It's a podcast that is actively digging tons of earth to find an ounce of gold, striving for a more perfect union.